Warning, before the video begins, there is going to be loading in the world problems. What I mean by that is that because of the new 1.14 update, the loading chunks loads in much slower than it used to in other updates, like the older updates. It loaded in perfectly okay, but I don't know why. Because of the new update, it's just the chunks don't load in as quickly as they normally do. So I'm really sorry for all the bad loading chunks in this video. And also, I was a little bit sleepy while making this video too, so I'm sorry if I'm stuttering and stuff like that throughout the video too. Alrighty. Hope you guys will enjoy the video. Hey yo, what's up guys? It's TheLuigiStriker here, and today I'm going to be doing another coaster fight between two awesome roller coasters in this world. These two coasters are probably some of my favorite roller coasters in the world, and they are Steel Vengeance Reborn and Millennium Force Reborn as well. Both of these two coasters is what I imagine to be a crazier version of Millennium Force and a crazier version of Steel Vengeance. Both roller coasters are at Cedar Point, and they're both really awesome roller coasters. And as you can see for Millennium Force here, there's more elements over there at the end. There's more airtime hills. The structure is bigger and has more tunnels than it had before. Even some of the tunnels are crazier than they were in the past. And then for Steel Vengeance Reborn, the whole waiting line is even more crazier. I mean, it has a whole 10, it has 6 more inversions and a total of 10 inversions, and it's just a whole crap ton of a bigger layout than what the original Steel Vengeance was right behind it too. So yeah, these two coasters I felt would be such the two good coasters to do a coaster fight between. So there's going to be 16 categories to decide which coaster is going to win the coaster fight. And they are height, speed, duration, supports, waiting line, lighting, loading station, entranceway, theming, inversions, logo, lag, scenery, exit, layout, and overall experience. And these coasters definitely get a lot of points for some categories, and some of them don't get a lot of points for some of the categories. But we're gonna see which one gets all the the most points in the end and will win the coaster fight in the end. So without further ado, let's begin the coaster fight between Steel Vengeance Reborn and Millennium Force Reborn. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Please subscribe for more awesome roller coaster related and Minecraft related videos in the future on my amazing channel of awesome content. First we have is the height category, and how we figure out the height category is my tallest coaster in my world is Legendary Evolution with 187 block tall height. And so I use that height and I calculate the heights for both of these rides, and Millennium Force Reborn, it was 105 blocks tall, and I believe Steel Vengeance Reborn was 86 blocks tall or something like that. So I use those numbers and I divide it by 187, and then I times that number, whatever I got from that division little math problem I did right there. And then I got 5.6 out of 10 for Millennium Force Reborn, and then I got a 4.6 out of 10 for Steel Vengeance Reborn. So Steel Vengeance obviously is not going to be as taller as Millennium Force, since Millennium Force is a Giga Coaster and Steel Vengeance is a Hyper Coaster, and it still is a Hyper Coaster in its Reborn version. So yeah, Steel Vengeance doesn't win the height category, but it only loses it by 1.01. So they're still pretty neck and neck for the beginning of this coaster fight. So Millennium Force Reborn is the winner of the height category. Next we have is the speed category. And how we figure out the speed category is we figure out any moments during the ride where it's slowing down when it really shouldn't be slowing down. And for Steel Vengeance Reborn, the only really moments it's really slowing down is this moment right here, and obviously the drop, and then probably going down the loop right there, and that part right there, and some other parts as well that probably has some slowing down some. But really there's nothing you can really do about it, but it does kind of affect the ride and makes the ride a little bit longer, and probably should have a little bit of a less duration. So that's the reason why I believe the speed category deserves a 7, because there's definitely multiple moments around Steel Vengeance Reborn where it has to slow the ride down to get through the elements, and that's a little bit sucky. But for Millennium Force Reborn though, there is not as many moments though where it has to really slow down the ride. And there's really only one moment, is obviously the drop, because drops that I have an 80-degree angle drop or something like that, definitely need to get down there slowly, so make sure it doesn't fall off the track. But pretty much everything else, none of the elements really slow down, because it's just full high powered rails for the rest of the ride. So Millennium Force definitely gets a pretty good 9 out of 10 score for the speed. The only bad thing is just the lift toe drop that slows you down. So For the speed category, Millennium Force Reborn wins the speed category, and Steel Avengers Reborn loses the speed category. Next we have is duration category, and how I figure out the duration category is my longest duration of a ride in this world is Legendary Evolution, and that has a duration of 1,228 seconds, or 20 minutes and 28 seconds. So I use that time from Legendary Evolution and use Millennium Force's Reborn's time, which is 4 minutes long, or also 240 seconds, and Steel Avengers Reborn's time, which is 3 minutes and 38 seconds, which is also 228 seconds. So I used the second amount of both of the rides. So Millennium Force Reborn 240 seconds. I divide that by 1,228, and I was able to get for the duration category a 1.96 out of 10. And what I did was once I got that decimal number, I times it by 10 to get the out of 10 number. And I did the same thing for Steel Vengeance Reborn as well, and that ended up getting 1.86 out of 10. So they were really close with points of duration category. They were only like 0.09 points off. So just barely squeaked it out. Millennium Force Reborn is the winner of the duration category. So good job, Millennium Force Reborn. Next we have is the supports category, and this is just really simple. Both of these rides get a freaking 10 out of 10, because like, look at these supports. These are probably some of the best supports like ever for any of my roller coasters like in my world. It's just crazy how good these like supports are, and like Steel Avengers Reborn supports too. They're also just like phenomenal. Like the supports around the corkscrews and like the versions like going like for like this part of the ride, and even like these humongous uphills of like the supports and stuff like that. It all just looks just so good with the ride. So obviously both Steel Vengeance Reborn and Millennium Force Reborn are gonna get a 10 out of 10 for supports. Next we have is the waiting line category, and you know the supports are really good for the ride. Well, guess what? The waiting line for both of these rides are also like phenomenal too. These are like probably like one of like some of the best waiting lines I have in this world besides some of the inside roller coasters. This is probably some of the best outside like waiting lines I had for like roller coasters, because like the inside of the cool SVR for Steel Avengers Reborn and the torches all around it, and the incredible awesome looking rooftop for both this rooftop and that rooftop, and like the same kind of design in there too. And even like the little pathway like connecting to like the loading station, like some of these supports like for like this pathway look really awesome, and even having a big CP and just so many like flaming like torches like with wood around them. And for Millennium Force Reborn, the waiting line is pretty good for that ride too, because if we go over to it right here, you can see there's an awesome pathway like leading up to like the station over like at the side there. And the rooftops look pretty cool with the sea lanterns, and like the lanterns themselves in the middle look pretty cool, and having like the MFR right here in the middle here is also just really cool, and even having like the lanterns in the middle here, like seeing all the sea lanterns on the roof, just all these like cool like lanterns everywhere, and like the rooftops like covering up, and another MFR like in there. It's such cool waiting lines. So I believe both of these rides deserve 10 out of 10s for the waiting lines. Such good waiting lines. Like, my gosh, they were so amazing. Next we have is the lighting category, and of course both of these rides once again get an awesome 10 out of 10. Like these three categories here are like the categories like for these coasters, man. Because like just look at the lighting for like Millennium Force Reborn here. It just lights up like the whole like ride. It makes sure like the tunnel is dark inside, which is definitely very good for the lighting, but the outside of it is completely lit up. Like everything around it like just lights up really like freaking well at night. Even like the roller coasters like beside like Tidal Twister like also look really like well written up at night, but obviously we're not doing a video for that coaster. And even for Steel Avengers Reborn, like the whole like entranceway, the waiting line, and also for Millennium Force Reborn, the entranceway and the logo and waiting line and stuff like that also is like completely lit up, obviously, as you saw from the waiting line. But yeah, the whole ride for like Steel Avengers Reborn is completely like lit up, and even the main structure I made like it lit up. Like you see like the little torches like everywhere like inside the structure. Like I made sure to make sure this ride illuminates at night. So yeah, both rides definitely get a perfect 10 out of 10 for lighting. So good job of Millennium Force Reborn and Steel Avengers Reborn. Next we have is the loading station category, and sadly these rides don't get a 10 out of 10 for their loading stations. I know we were on such a good streak right there. But anyways, for Steel Avengers Reborn's loading station, it does have a pretty unique design, because I really do like the rooftop for this, like the torches at the side, and then even like the torches in the middle, like how the rooftop like covers it too. Even the entranceway, I love how like the roof is designed in the entranceway. That's like pretty sick looking. And even like I even count this as part of the loading station. It even has like a torch and like a thing at the bottom of it too. So Steel Avengers Reborn like loading station is not bad, but the problem with it is it's small. And definitely good loading stations, definitely need to be a whole lot bigger and definitely way more detailed than this loading station was made. And kind of the same for Millennium Force Reborn 2, but I believe actually Millennium Force Reborn's station is actually better than Steel Vengeance's Reborn's station, because what's cool about Millennium Force's Reborn's station is it has like an exiting like area like for a station, and also has like the entering like area for like a station too. So like the main loading station right here, and then like the exiting like loading like area like right here too. So it's like two separate like areas, and even like the inside of these looks pretty cool too, with like glowstone and the ceiling and turning lines and stuff like that, and also being able like to see like what the heck is about to come. Even the designs of like the roof and stuff like that is pretty cool, and I also really like the little patterns like at the bottom of them too, and I even like how there's even an emergency exit like for this too. So definitely Millennium Forces Reborn's station is a little bit more elaborate than Steel Avengers Reborn's station, but obviously, it's not the greatest design for a loading station ever, and also it's not the biggest loading station design ever, just like Stevens Reborn's loading station design too. So it's not going to get many points, so it's just going to get one more point. So Millennium Force Reborn's station gets a 7 out of 10, while Steel Vengeance Reborn's station gets a 6 out of 10. So good job, both rides. They didn't do bad in this category. Next we have is the entranceway category, and I'm just going to say right now, both of these rides' entranceways are phenomenal. Like, they're just so well designed. I love how both of these entranceways like designed, especially Millennium Force Reborn, because you have like the letters like coming across here like while you're entering the ride. Then you have like the awesome like Millennium Force like curve like design like it has right there, and the big awesome logo saying Millennium Force Reborn, having MFR at this side, and all these like awesome like white and blue patterns like everywhere, and even also the cool lanterns all around it too, and having the logo lit up and everything just completely shining bright at night. Like, that's why I made sure like to keep like at night, just to show you guys how awesome this looked, and also how awesome the loading station and stuff like that looked at night. And if we go over to actually Millennium Steel Vengeance, we get away from Millennium Force Reborn, we go over to Steel Vengeance Reborn. Its entranceway is pretty good too, but obviously with the space I had, I couldn't really make it that big. But I really do like the torch design at the top. The logo looks awesome with the Reborn stuff, and then the SVR, like it's humongous, and like the fire all around it, and then like the stone, the mossy stone, the cracked stone, the polished underside, like all combined makes it look like really awesome. It makes you feel like you're about to enter something like epic. It just looks so awesome. But just because it's not really like big, and like not as big and like as like entering like as like Millennium Force Reborn's entrance the way it was, that's why I felt like I only really need like 1 point off. But both of the entranceways are still really good though. That's the only reason why I kind of gave Steel Vengeance Reborn like 1 point off and didn't win the category. So good job Millennium Force Reborn over there for winning the category. Next is the theming category, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys, when I'm about to talk about this, is probably going to find this stupid, but it's my opinion, so you don't have to agree with my opinions, obviously, but this is just my opinion on my opinions about the theming. Yeah. So Millennium Force Reborn theming, it kind of has like a little bit of a futuristic kind of like theming to it, because of like how like the lamps like look and stuff like that. Even the loading station kind of has like a little bit of a futuristic kind of like theme, and the sea lanterns also kind of give it a little bit of a futuristic kind of like theme. So that's kind of like the theming it feels like Millennium Force Reborn is kind of going for. But like obviously, as you can tell, there's like not really like a huge theme for the ride. I'm pretty sure even futuristic is not really like a big theme for the ride. So I can see like it's attempting like to do a little bit of theming. So that's why I'm just gonna give like Millennium Force Reborn like just a 2 out of 10. Just seems like a fair score in my opinion. And also, Steel Vengeance Reborn obviously doesn't really have theming too, but if you kind of want to theme it like off the theme of epicness, then it definitely does that really good of all like the torches everywhere, like the making like the waiting line looks really epic, and having like the epic like tall structure there, and on like another like epic like looking waiting line and like the rooftops for the waiting line and stuff like that, and also the loading station. But obviously Steel Vengeance Reborn like is also kind of themed off of the Wild West too, but you can't really really feel like there's any like Wild West kind of like theming in here too. So I mean, I guess if you kind of like think the like loading like the like these loading station rooftop and the waiting line rooftops kind of feel Wild West like, then I guess you can call that the theming. But pretty much what I'm just saying, y'all, is the theming for both of these rides just don't really like doesn't really feel like there's a lot of theming for these rides. So I just felt like Steel Vengeance Reborn feels like it has a little bit more theming though, so I'll give it a 4 out of 10, and then Millennium Force Reborn only gets a 2 out of 10. All right, that took a while to explain. I apologize. Next we have is the inversion category, and Millennium Force is gonna get a big flop and 0 because obviously there is no inversions on Millennium Force, so we'll just go all the way to Steel Vengeance Reborn. So Steel Vengeance Reborn, obviously, like I said a couple of times in this video, if you were paying attention to what I was saying, but if you weren't paying attention to what I was saying, well, guess what? Steel Vengeance Reborn has a total of 10 inversions. Before, like when the original version over there, like as you saw over there, had only 4 inversions, but this one has 10 inversions. So what it is, the most inversions on a coaster in this world is a Legendary Evolution, and it has 27 whole inversions. I know, it's pretty dang crazy. And so what I used is I used the 10 that I have for inversions for Steel Vengeance Reborn, and I divided it by 27, and that number that I got, which was 3.7 out of 10. So like whatever decimal number I got, obviously I times it by 10, and I got like the 10 out of like the whatever number out of 10, which is 3.7 out of 10. So that's how I got that number there. So obviously Steel Vengeance Reborn obviously wins the inversion category massively by completely eliminating Millennium Force Reborn from the competition inversion, since it didn't even have any inversions on its ride limo. So Steel Vengeance Reborn just wins the inversion category. Next we have is the logo category, and for both of these rides, they actually do have pretty good logos in my opinion, but the logos are just average. Like, they don't really like completely like blow my mind, just blow me away. I mean, they still look cool, but this logo is just a copy of the original Steel Vengeance logo, like on the top, and then make my own like Reborn letters like at the bottom. It's not like the Reborn letters look bad or anything like that, but it's just a copy of it too. It doesn't seem like it's like the most unique design of a logo ever. And kind of like the same for Millennium Force Reborn as well, because if we go over to its logo, which is over here, Luigi. Yeah, you're being a little stupid. But yeah, like, so like for Millennium Force's Reborn's logo, it's just like a copy of like the original Millennium Force like logo that I used for the original Millennium Force, and I just plopped the words Reborn under it, and I also copied like how the blue thing was designed at the top for the most part. You even see I even copied it down there somewhat as well. So both like the logos are not really like unique in their own way. They weren't like fully like completely like new design, but they're still cool logos. Like, I'm not saying they're bad logos. It's just they're just ordinary, but they're still good logos in my opinion. So both of them just get 7 out of 10 because they're just ordinary. So yeah, both of them did a pretty good job in the logo category. Next we have is the lag category, and for the lag category, all it really is just how many times does the ride like have like a lag spike or like some type of like lag while it's riding the ride. And Millennium Force Reborn, it's actually in a pretty good place, because not many like really roller coasters around it that can really like lag in, and supports are not really going to be laggy that much whatsoever. So the lag for this ride is not really bad at all. Probably at some points when I'm riding I have one like lag spike just because Minecraft probably hates me, but yeah, it's not really a laggy ride at all. So just because it only has like usually sometimes one lag spike, it gets a 9 out of 10. But Steel Vengeance Reborn though, you can see like there is a crap ton of supports for this ride, and definitely the crap ton of supports can probably cause like sometimes up to like 3 lag spikes, even like 4 lag spikes, something like that, like while you're riding the ride. So just because like it's a wooden roller coaster, it definitely has like a little bit more lag to it. So Steel Vengeance Reborn is gonna get a 7 out of 10 for lag, because it probably like at most it usually has 3 lag spikes, and Millennium Force has only like not 9, but I was about to say 9 out of 10 for the category. So yeah, Millennium Force Reborn now gets a 9 out of 10 for the lag category, and Steel Vengeance Reborn gets a 7 out of 10 for the category. There you go. So good job, Millennium Force Reborn. Next we have is the scenery category, and Steel Vengeance Reborn definitely does its scenery very well. It has like trees all around the ride, like all around it. And definitely there's a lot over here, and definitely like having like open space like in the middle of all like the grass and flowers and stuff like that just makes it look beautiful. So Steel Vengeance Reborn definitely gets a pretty good category for like the scenery category. It's definitely not as good as the Beast Forest, and eventually the Beast Reborn's Forest that's going to be going around it, but it still has a really nice scenery around it, so it gets a nice 8 out of 10. But Millennium Force Reborn's scenery, however, it isn't bad. Like I love like the open like space of all like the grass and like flowers everywhere, and even some like the cool like scenery like of like the other roller coasters like around the area and stuff like that. But that's just it. It's just mostly a bunch of grass and flowers and some other little roller coasters around there. Which frankly, the roller coasters are only kind of scenery. So usually what I do for scenery is I only really count scenery as like grass or like trees or like different kind of like things you probably like find in the wild in Minecraft or something like that. I don't know, but mostly just grass and trees, okay? So yeah, Millennium Force just gets the average scenery score just because Millennium is grass. It just gets a 5 out of 10, and Steel Avengers Reborn gets an 8 out of 10. So Steel Avengers Reborn wins the scenery category. Next we have is the exit category, and Millennium Force Reborn's exit, I mean, like, the patterns in here are alright, but they're not really the greatest, and then all it really is just some lame, like, one down supports going down, and just connects you all the way, like, back, to, like, where your, entranceway is eventually over there. But what I like about this one, though, is like, the lamps around it are pretty, nice, and even like the torches having like lighted up foliage because the lamps are too lazy to apparently light it up all the way. And also it's pretty cool is that like how close like the exit also gets to like some parts of the ride, which is also pretty cool. But it's just a pretty ordinary exit, so Millennium Force Reborn's exit only gets a 3 out of 10. And if we go over to Steel Avengers Reborn's exit, and also this is not really the greatest design exit ever, but I like how the supports are designed right there, and I also like how like there's like two like different like pathways, and you can like look under like the torch thing here, or you can like go under like two parts of the ride, and also for this path you can even like go under like the waiting line you just went through, and then this long pathway that leads to this not really interesting like entranceway to the ride. So Reborn's exit I feel like does it a little bit better than Millennium Force Reborn's exit. So Reborn, Steel Avengers Reborn is only going to get 1 more point than Millennium Force Reborn, but yeah, so Steel Avengers Reborn wins the exit category just by a little bit. Next we have is the layout category, and my gosh, both of these rides' layouts are just so freaking awesome, man. Like, I can't believe I was able to be so creative and think of such an amazing layout, because like the structure for these rides are like so much bigger. The supports, like, just because they're so much bigger, like it makes the supports like look so much more awesome. Like the layout is just so unique. Even having like a big like a vertical loop for like Steel Avengers Reborn, even adding like a couple more inversions that is making it like so much bigger and so much more awesome. Like the layout for these rides are just crazy. And even one of my also favorite points of this ride is like when it goes like up in like kind of corkscrew like through like this part of the ride here, and it has so much like supports all around you. It just looks awesome. But and then also for like Millennium Force Reborn too, like it looks like awesome. Like the layout looks awesome, and also looks great with like all those supports to fit and stuff like that. And like I love how the drop looks like in the layout. It just looks very smooth, like dropping down. The huge like curve around is also really good and all that kind of stuff. Like the Millennium Force Reborn's layout just looks like really good, and it definitely feels like a little bit more crazy original Millennium Force Reborn. But the reason why Millennium Force Reborn doesn't get as much points as Steel Avengers Reborn is just because Steel Avengers Reborn definitely feels way more Reborn than Millennium Force Reborn does. I mean, Millennium Force Reborn still feels Reborn and crazier, but it definitely isn't as crazier like as like the like elements and stuff like that, like Steel Vengeance Reborn like adds onto it like in the Reborn version. So Steel Vengeance Reborn wins the layout category by just 1 point, but their layouts are still really good. I'm not saying like both of their like Millennium Force Reborn's layout is bad. Like it still gets a 9 out of 10 for the layout, so that's still really good. So still Millennium Force Reborn did really good in the layout category. Not saying Millennium Force Reborn was bad. Okay, so yeah, once again, Steel Avengers Reborn wins the layout category. Alright, we are at the final category for this coaster fight, and it's the overall experience category. And for this category, what I do is I add up every single like point amount that like each of like the like categories for like the roller coaster got, and I add it all together, and I have a score out of 160, and I use that score and I divide and get a certain number, and I times that number by 10, and I get the final score out of 10 for overall experience. And I am in front of the ride that won the coaster fight for this video between Millennium Force Reborn and Steel Avengers Reborn. Are you ready? Drum roll. Brrr. I know it's the most main drum roll you ever heard. Brrr. Steel Avengers Reborn won the coaster fight between Millennium Force Reborn. It's just like, this is actually confirmed to be my new favorite roller coaster at Cedar Point, and my favorite roller coaster in the whole entire world. It's just so insane, and if this ride ever like existed in real life, it'd just be so much more insane. I would love it even more than the original Steel Avengers. It was just such an awesome creative design to make Steel Avengers more crazier than it already was. And Millennium Force used to be my favorite ride for a really long time, and it still holds a really good place in my heart, and it's still one of my favorite roller coasters in the whole entire world. But it just wasn't as good as compared to as the Steel Vengeance on Reborn though. But as I said, the categories like I said in the beginning of the video, the categories were still pretty close. The difference between these categories, it was just really close. I mean, in the overall experience, the difference was just 0.35. For Millennium Force Reborn, I got a 6.16 out of 10, and then for Steel Avengers Reborn, I got a 6.39 out of 10, and then for Millennium Force Reborn, I got a 98.56 out of 160, and then Steel Avengers Reborn got a 102.16 out of 160. So they were really close and tied together for the overall experience. So I'm gonna quickly go over all the stats that I just went through and explained them for you in depth, alright? So we have
height 4.6 out of 10, speed 7 out of 10, duration 1.86 out of 10, supports 10 out of 10, wing length 10 out of 10, lighting 10 out of 10, loading station 6 out of 10, entranceway 9 out of 10, theming 4 out of 10, inversions 3.7 out of 10, logo 7 out of 10, lag 7 out of 10, scenery 8 out of 10, exit 4 out of 10, layout 10 out of 10, and overall experience 6.39 out of 10.
And for Millennium Force Reborn, we have
for height, 5.61 out of 10, speed 9 out of 10, duration 1.95 out of 10, supports 10 out of 10, wing length 10 out of 10, lighting 10 out of 10, loading station 7 out of 10, entranceway 10 out of 10, theming 2 out of 10, inversions 0 out of 10, logo 7 out of 10, lag 9 out of 10, scenery 5 out of 10, exit 3 out of 10, layout 9 out of 10, and overall experience 6.16 out of 10.
So yeah, once again, both of these coasters were just so good, and I love my imagining of how these rides would be crazier. So thank you guys for watching this coaster fight between Steel Vengeance Reborn and Millennium Force Reborn, and tell me what you thought of it in the comments below, and please like and subscribe once again for some more awesome roller coaster related videos in the future on this channel. And there's one last coaster fight going to be coming up, and that'll be between Hang Time from Knott's Berry Farm and one of Creeper Jackson's coasters that's related to Hang Time called Tidal Wave. So we're gonna see which one of those two coasters wins. So thank you guys for watching once again, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next roller coaster video on my channel. Bye bye!